Hey, beautiful people. Um, Sam and I just got off, like a 3 hour call. We did our Remembrance Portal call today, which is our badass membership that we offer. Um, and we reconnected after some time of navigating, ironically, very parallel experiences these last couple of weeks, but not ironically, because we are yin yang soul sisters, twinsies that have um different experiences, but on an energetic level, same frequency, same vibration, same embodiment, same lessons. And I can speak for myself that the last 3 weeks have been very shifting for me. I started this month off at a cactus medicine ceremony, learning the Wachuma medicine, um, which was powerful and shifting. And I'm still integrating, processing what that has surfaced for me and probably will for many years to come. So that is literally how May 1st started for me, and then went right into two back-to-back music festivals here where I live. And first one was a 4 day EDM festival, and this last weekend was bluegrass for 3 days. Um, so needless to say, I have been in a lot of different energies and haven't had a ton of time to just be with myself and process, except for just the last couple of days. And some of that being was sleeping because my body needed to sleep after not sleeping uh, my normal amounts the last few weeks. But honoring that that is what those experiences were calling in for me, but also honoring what my body needed these last few days. So she and I just had a beautiful reconnection. And what I'm really wanting to share with that, about that, is what she and I both realized because we've just been feeling like, I don't want to say off, but just like weird, not ourselves the last few days, and haven't really been able to put words to it, a label to it, a name to it, just other than like, whoa, we just experienced a lot and like, who the fuck are we again? What are we doing here? That whole like, but yet also not realizing that we're just embodying these newer versions of ourselves. And that's kind of what we realized today in talking to each other. And something profound she shared with me that is still having a lot of activations within me. But something she and I have struggled with since owning branches of vibrational healing is like explaining to people or sharing with people like what we actually do and like owning that. Like that is something that we both have just kind of found challenging. Um, and part of it, or a big part of it, is because in this work we've been doing for ourselves, we're realizing how multidimensional we are, how not one way we are, how we're not just one thing, how we don't just offer one modality, how we don't like, we're truly multidimensional. And so we wear a lot of hats. And I feel like we've been navigating like what that means from a place of authenticity versus like what I had done in the past, which was like being a shape-shifting chameleon kind of thing to fit in with people, right? Like it's a different, like I was trying to, I didn't know who I was when I was doing that, right? And I'm talking back when I was, pre-adolescent to adolescent to young adult to probably about 5 years ago, 4 years ago or so. Like I didn't know who I was. So, and all I know is that I wanted acceptance from people and to be loved by people. And so the easiest way to do that was to just morph into what I believed everybody wanted me to be. But that was very exhausting because I was like constantly trying to act certain ways around people, right? Tone certain parts of myself down for this group, elevate that part of myself for this group, right? And it's like, oh my God, that was an exhausting way to live. So still being like multidimensional, but not being true to myself, like literally trying on all these masks and costumes that I thought the external world wanted from me, right? So very inauthentic. Um, but part of just like being a human, like that's living in a programmed world. So no judgment around those versions of myself. I appreciate that experience because now I can feel the difference of how I'm being multidimensional now and wearing different hats, so to speak. But in all of that, it has created a lot of like I still have a really hard time telling people what I do, like within the business of branches and just like what I do on the day to day as a human, spirit being a human. I don't know why this is so like blurry, but whatever. Zoom's doing all sorts of different things these days. So I'm just gonna roll with it. Um, so Sam and I realized that we're at a point in our journey where trying to explain to people what we're all about, what we do, who we are, is we're done. Like we're done with that. I'm done over explaining myself. But in that, I'm also not gonna hold truth back. I'm not gonna hold my voice back out of fear for how it might be received or perceived by people, right? Because one of my biggest fears my whole life, which was always a self-fulfilling prophecy, was that I was misunderstood. And I'm really owning that I'm not here to be understood. I'm here to be experienced, as my soul brother Ryan would put it. And like, I remember him saying that to me like 2 years ago, the first time. And like, I've heard him say it multiple times since. And like, every time it landed in me a little bit differently, a little bit deeper, but still having a lot of wounded parts that wanted to be understood. And what I now realize is that Sam and I, she had this realization. So I credit her for it 1,000%. And it just put into words what I've literally been feeling, especially just like the last couple of days. And we are divine channels of truth. That's what we are. And that's what we do. We channel truth. And that's going to be expressed differently, um, in different ways. But the energy, the frequency, the vibrational signature behind it, because it's truth, is all one frequency. Um, and as divine channels of truth, what does that mean? Right. Well, for me, it means staying consistent and committed to myself, that I will every day choose to remove more of my masks, choose to be able to first see them, right? Choose to see those delusions and illusions that my human has created to stay safe in this world, to stay safe in society, to stay accepted in society, right? And so the only way that I can be a divine channel of truth is by constantly revealing within myself everything that's not truth anymore. And also understanding that what might have been true for me even a week ago isn't necessarily my truth today, because I am a constantly evolving human who's becoming more and more conscious every now minute, every now moment of every day, right? So as a divine channel of truth, I've also come to the acceptance that I am a catalyst for change, but that doesn't mean that I'm out trying to change people or the world. I'm merely doing that work within myself. And I'm not even, again, I'm not even trying to change or fix me. I'm trying or I'm allowing the revelation of the shadow self to continue to step forward, right? The shadow self, the unknown. I'm allowing those things that we keep hidden or in denial to reveal themselves to me. And so in that work, the more I do that, the more, or I should say, the louder the delusions of the world will become sometimes, right? And I know this because I've been doing this work now for 7 or 8 years, but it's like it's landing in my body differently this week because now I'm being shown that it's not just a concept anymore for me that like makes sense up here, that I operate from it sometimes. It's like you're embodying it now, and energy doesn't lie. So, as a divine channel of truth, right, and making that commitment to yourself to always want to reveal your own truths, you will trigger people, right? You will be a catalyst in people's experiences because you will cause them to question themselves, right? Even though you may not even be like outwardly telling people, question yourself, question everything, which we should. I'm just saying. That's what's allowed me to free myself from my own limiting beliefs and the construct of this human matrix earth plane game is by questioning all of it, right? Questioning what I believed was truth before. And that is the awakening. That's the like, oh my God, everything we were taught was false or only a small aspect of truth, right? And so, as a divine channel of truth, I'm also inner and understanding that my voice will continue to shift, meaning how I live that truth, how I speak that truth is going to continue to change as I step into these more authentic versions of my soul self, or like my soul signature versus like the human Maria that has had to survive this game. And it's like you're marrying both of those entities. It's an integration of both. It's integrating that beautiful human Maria that has had to create all of these behaviors and these belief systems to make it through this world, right? But also honoring that, like, maybe some of those ways of being or those belief systems aren't actually serving my soul self that wants to experience life a little bit differently now. And so I'm really coming on here to own that and claim that for myself. And for those of you that still wonder what I do, right? Like, because I've taken on the label of shamanic medicine woman, I'm a nurse, I'm a healer, I'm a multidimensional being, I'm an intuitive, I'm an energy worker. And yeah, I'm all those things, but they're all just tools of me expressing divine truth. And so Sam and I offer a gazillion different modalities on how we access and express that truth for people based on what they need to receive, how they need to receive it. And so we do that in multidimensional ways through our coaching, through just being real and sharing our stories and our human journey. But more than anything, I think she and I are both realizing we're just living it. We're embodying the frequency of truth, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's not what we'll say the majority of people want to see, face, feel, acknowledge. It doesn't matter. Truth doesn't hide because truth is love. That's the irony of it. Truth is love. Everybody talks about love and light. And there's a like belief, or I'll say a misconception, that love and light is just like positivity all the time, when that is not what love and light is. Love and light is truth. Light illuminates that which lives in the dark. So it's revealing the truth. So sometimes love and light isn't delivered all like fairies and rainbows and unicorns. Sometimes it's delivered a little more, what maybe some people would say harsh. But if you can really feel energy and discern energy, it's just solid in what it knows and what it speaks and how it lives. And I'm personally learning that by being a divine channel of truth, that also comes with having boundaries. Um, Boundaries within myself, within my own behaviors, within my own ways of being, but also external boundaries. And we talked about this last night in my cactus medicine mentorship that I'm in. And we talked about that boundaries are not walls that you put up to constrict and confine. Actually, boundaries actually create more space because boundaries are truth. And boundaries, when you embody truth, boundaries are just a natural part of that. Like they almost become unspoken. Initially, yes, we have to start verbalizing boundaries because we live in a boundaryless world where none of us really know what that means. And most of us have very weakened, or we'll say infiltrated energy auras because we've not set boundaries for ourselves our whole life because that's not something we learn ever. Um, but what I've like been getting kind of downloaded into me about like how this all relates to being a divine channel of truth. It's like when you're a divine channel of truth, your boundaries speak for themselves because the energy doesn't lie. And so in the beginning process of exercising boundaries and learning what that means, yes, you will have to express that to people. And sometimes that comes in a no, in saying no. And sometimes that comes with saying yes to something. Boundaries are fluid and they'll shift as you shift and stand more in your truth and in your power. So I really believe that's what it means to stand in your power. It's like you're standing in your truth. Because when you're in your truth, nothing can rattle you. Nothing will make you waver. It doesn't mean you're not open to other perspectives, right? But you're solid in your energetic resonance and you're not worried about how it is being perceived by the world around you because you have an understanding that people are literally only perceiving based on their own human projections. That's how we perceive the world, based off of our own human projection and our minds and our life experiences. That's what we see in other people. It's what we see in the world, right? It's constantly a projection. Everything's a projection. We are creator beings projecting. And so when you really like know that, you start to care way less about what people think about you and what they're perceiving from you. Because when you're in your truth, when you're in your heart space, your love, you're not in a state of fear because you know what's coming through is your truth and that you're not doing it to hurt anyone. You're merely doing it to raise the vibration of this planet, ironically. Everybody talks about raising the vibes of this planet. And again, a lot of people think that means you just run around like you're happy all the time. Like, I don't know any human that legitimately is feeling happy all the time. I just don't. And if you are, there's probably something within you that you're lying to you about yourself. Because we're multidimensional beings that have a multitude of emotions. And I know for me, they're all running through me all day. So, like, I'm happy, but can also be grieving at the same time. And depending on what energy needs to be expressed most in that moment is what's going to come out, right? So, divine channels of truth have their own energetic boundaries just by being in their truth. And I'm trying to think of a way I can like bring a real life example that's recently happened to me that I'm like, whoa, that was just me being in my truth. And like, it actually wasn't received badly. Um, so it's taken me a lot to create sacred, safe spaces after I left my very wounded marriage. Um, living in my dream home that felt very much like a prison. So when I left that, like creating my own energetic space was so important for me. And I've spent the last 2 years doing that. And I have an RV that I've done that in. I have a van now that I've had now for almost a year that I've done that in, where like creating that energetic signature of that space has taken a lot of work and intention and consciousness on my part to create that. And um, I know that's like a concept that some like it's kind of like hard to understand and that everything in this world is energy, but I've in a sense become very protective of my spaces now. Um, and only want to allow certain frequencies into that space. That's a boundary. That's not um it's not a judgment of the frequencies that I don't want in that space. It's an awareness of everything's energy and everything carries vibration. And I've worked really hard to set a certain frequency of a physical space. And so I want to keep that. And so there are some energies, entities, frequencies that could infiltrate that if I allow that in. And this just happened a couple weeks ago where I had to share with someone to not do a certain behavior in one of my spaces. And I remember like initially feeling really uncomfortable saying no to that. And I'm like, wait, wait, wait. I feel uncomfortable. It's my space. And even though I know they don't maybe get what I'm saying, I do. And I know that I've worked really hard to cultivate an energy in that space that people feel when they come into it. And so it is within my right, my sovereignty to want to hold that container. And so if people want to do certain things, then go do it elsewhere because I don't want that energy in my space. And I was really like afraid to hold that boundary. But the beautiful thing was how it was received. And it was received with such love. And even like an apology that there was an accountability taken, right? Like, whoa, whoa, I never even thought of that. Thank you, Maria, for saying no to me and showing me that because I wasn't even aware that that's what was actually happening. And so thank you. And I was like, whoa, that was received so not like how I expected it to be received, but it was received with love, understanding, compassion, accountability. Like, and I'm like, oh my God, boundaries are like a real thing. Like these are, and I know this because I have learned how to have way more boundaries these last few years. I wouldn't be where I'm at if I was still boundaryless. But it was like God, it was like an embodiment of it on both ends. And I've had another experience since then where I felt it was time to really speak truth, but also honoring that I didn't want it to come from a wounded voice. So I allowed myself to um, sit in the energy of the feels of the experience first, and then was like, all right, I'm ready to speak my truth now and stand in it and know there might be repercussions of it, know that it might not be received at all, but I'm okay with that now because I'm here to be true. I'm here to be true. I'm here to be authentic. I'm here to be the love that will sometimes shine a light on fear and unconsciousness. And being a catalyst like that is super uncomfortable sometimes, a lot of times, but I'm learning to like embrace that because the more I am it, the more I really do see that it's serving this earth plane. It's breaking people out of their own mental delusions and illusions so they too can make the choice of, do I want to live more freely, more sovereign, more sovereignly, like sovereignly, more sovereign, more at peace with who I am? Or do I want to continue to like just throw a mask on and like just like make it through this experience? Right. Um, so Sam and I are divine channels of truth. That's who we are, and that's what we do. We offer it in many ways. Um, and it's powerful as fuck. And I think that's all I have right now in this now moment. I think that's all the truth I have to share and speak right now. So if you're wondering what we do, we channel divine truth. If you wonder who we are channels of divine truth. But in that, we are constantly stripping away everything that is no longer true for us. And I believe that's a lifelong journey. So, love ya.